Scotland 160 for 5 of 20 overs. The West Indies 118 all out of 18.5 overs. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Forum. In a pathetic display of fielding, batting, not so much bowling, but fielding and batting, the West Indies cricket team went down to Minas, Scotland, by 42 runs in their opening World Cup T20 match last night. Now, chasing 160 to win, the West Indies display a poor batting effort to be bowled out for 118. Now, a lot of question has been asked. Did Scotland make too many? Now, 160 is par for the score. And let's put things in perspective. Since the last World Cup, Scotland played 2 T20 international matches against New Zealand. On both occasions, they made 156 and 152. So just around that 150, 160 mark is Scotland's par score. But looking at that performance last night, the West Indies could have reduced Pakistan to much less than 160. Now, first thing first, it clearly shows that Simmons is not in charge of this team. It was a lethargic fielding performance from the West Indies. And any good coach, one of the signs of a good coach in cricket is to have your team fielding with intensity in the field. That was missing last night. There was no intensity from the West Indies team in the field. It was very, very lethargic effort from the West Indies cricket team in the field last night. It was clear from ball one, they probably were cold, but that's where you get the energy. If you are cold, then you increase your energy. The team was so lethargic in the field. Firstly, they continue this policy of opening the bowling with Myers. Myers have never yet gotten a T20 wickets. Somebody correct me. Does Myers have a T20 wickets? And you started this policy against New Zealand in Jamaica on the 10th of August, where you have Myers bowling 1 and 2 over up front. He has never gotten a T20 wicket, so the policy fails. Why do you consist with Myers? Who do you think an opening batsman prefer to face? Myers, Older, Joseph, Hussain? If you are opening the batting, who would you prefer to face out of those four? Clearly, they do not bowl Odin Smith in the power play. So if you have Myers, you have Older, you have Hussain, you have Joseph, who as an opening batsman do you prefer to face? Clearly, I would prefer to face Myers. Why West Indies continue to open the bowling with Myers is beyond me. His first over went for 9 runs, and yet still they gave him another over that went for 15 runs. So why is that policy? That's why I firmly believe that the reason why Joseph first over went for 15 runs is because Myers, so to speak, in cricketing terms, opened the batsman eye. Him get the batsman going. He got the batsman them going. That's why Joseph went for 15 runs in his first over. That is my opinion. Myers need to stop open the bowling. And the other thing too, Simmons must go. Simmons must go. Simmons cannot coach this team. If you are a coach that worth your salary, you must have this team fielding with more intensity in the field. Nowhere was it more glaring than when Hussain on the third man boundary and Berrington was batting. Berrington top edge a ball down to the third man boundary, and instead of Hussain charging to take the catch, Hussain just relaxed and let the ball come to him, and the batsmen run 2. Everybody were upset. It was a clear sign to show the lack of intensity from this West Indies team in the field. Same thing again, Hussain. he was feeling on the fine leg boundary this time, another top edge, and he just stood there and let the ball sail over his head and went for 4. It did not went for 6. If the ball had gone for 6, you could have understand. But the ball went for 4, just sailed straight over Hussein head on the fine leg boundary. I think that was the 18th over being bowled by McCoy. So the lethargicness of the West Indies team in the field is down to the coach. And because I am calling for the coach to be fired, the coach must go. If you are not batting well, you are not bowling well, you must be able to show intensity in the field. And this team is not showing any intensity in the field. Scotland made 160. It was a good bowling performance from the bowlers, but with a little intensity in the field, that total could have been 140. There's talk about 15 runs coming off the last over from Odean Smith and that he bowled poorly. But let's put things into perspective. I heard Bishop saying that Odean Smith have bowled the death over 2 times for the West Indies before now. So I did my research. And the first time that Odean Smith bowled the death over for the West Indies was in Fort Lauderdale on the 7th of August against India. That's the first time he bowled the death over. So I look back at all those persons who bowled the death over before, after the 7th of August. So look at the 7th of August. In the death over, Odean Smith bowled the last over against India in Fort Lauderdale on the 7th of August. He got 1 wicket, conceded 7 runs, and there was a run out. So there were 2 wickets in that last over for 7 runs. In the next match, on the 10th of August in Jamaica at Savannah Park, Holder bowled that last over. That last over went for 31 runs. In the following match, which was the 12th, the Friday at Savannah Park, same way, that last over was bowled by Shepherd, and it went for 6 runs, and he got a wicket. Now, in the following match, the Sunday, Odean Smith also again bowled the last over. It went for 9 runs, and he got 2 wickets. In the match against Australia on the 5th, it was bowled by Cottrell, and he conceded 11 runs. In the last match against Australia, it was bowled by Joseph, where he got 6 runs and 2 wickets. Now, last night, the score was 145 for 5 off 19 overs. But Joseph have completed his 4 overs. Yes, Joseph have completed his 4 overs. I think the logical choice, people are saying that Holder had 2 for 14 from his 3 overs. Yes, he had 2 for 14 from his 3 overs. But Odean Smith also have 1 for 16 from his 3 overs. And taking into consideration that the last time that Holder bowled the last over, he went for 31 runs. You will have to give Smith the edge. Now, there is the bowling chart for the West Indies. Myers up front bowling 2 overs for 24 runs. Why does Myers continue to open the bowling? So if 15 runs comes off Odean Smith last over, it means that his first 3 overs went for 16 runs. So you cannot blame the captain for giving Odean Smith the ball, because Odean Smith have been bowling the last over, as I showed you here. His last over against India, 7 runs, 1 wicket, 1 run out. His last over against New Zealand, 9 runs, 2 wickets. So that was good last over bowling. All the last over, 31 runs against New Zealand. So nothing was wrong with giving Odean Smith the ball to bowl that last over. But looking at this bowling chart, you cannot fault the bowlers. Although it would have been better if there was intensity in the field. The team was very lethargic in the field. They might be cold, but the best way to keep warm is to keep moving. And this is where I blame Simmons. As a coach, if the batting is not improving, the bowling is not improving, there must be intensity in the field. There must be increase in the fielding. There must be improvement in the fielding. And Simmons must go. But despite all of that, 160 was par score. The West Indies should have easily have gotten 160. But the batsmen The batsmen failed to play a good, proper cricketing shot, and as a result, the team was bowled out for 180. Most of the batsmen were out going across the line. Brandon King get a full ball and try to cut it off his stump. Pooran also get a full ball and try to swing it away through mid-wicket. Rovman Powell went for an almighty swing, the first ball off the drinks break, trying to hit the ball to the longest boundary in the ground. This was a pathetic batting performance from the West Indies. I have not decided whether I'm going to make any change for the second match. I will come to you on Wednesday morning and see if there's any change to be made. I need to analyze this some more, but the bowling could not be blamed. Yes, Scotland made 160, but remember they made 152 and 156 against New Zealand earlier this year in their 2 T20 match. So 160 is just about par, but they did not have to get to 160. It's because of the coach fault, where the players are very lax in the field. If you cannot get your players to be motivated and field with intensity, you are not a good coach. And for that, I'm saying that Simmons out. It was a poor batting display, very poor batting display. Being bowled out for 118 by Scotland is unacceptable. Remember, in Scotland, last two T20 internationals, in the last 2 T20 international that Scotland bowling, they conceded over 200 runs. They conceded as many as 256 in one of these T20s. And to bowl out the West Indies for 118, it is unacceptable on the part of the West Indies batsmen. And those batsmen need to take a serious look into themselves, because the call is going to get louder that some of them should not be there. Although I always say support the team, it's our team, they are already there and we cannot change it, but the call is now going to come louder for some of them not to be there, because the batting was so very, very poor, and we must come up with a solution to this batting problem. This performance was pathetic. I am hungry. I'm telling you. I'm not shouting, but I'm telling you that I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I waste my sleep last night to watch the West Indies bat like that. These guys, they didn't just try to build an innings. Everybody seemed like they want to swing from the hip. It was poor and it was pathetic, and the coach must go. It is time for Simmons to resign. It is time for Simmons to be fired. If he won't resign, he must be fired, because this West Indies batting performance was very, very pathetic last night. And it was really humiliating to be bowled out for 180 by Scotland. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please slash a like on this video, share and subscribe. Until tomorrow when I speak to you, thank you all for tuning in. May God bless you all. Have a good day. Pathetic, man. Pathetic.